Sunday run day, people. Let's go. We're getting shredded. Got the sourdough going in. Half of this is for my training partner today. But yeah, we're gonna do 8K easy on the palm. I've done 3K this week, just on the treadmill, and then 8K the other day, which went really well. So I'm gonna round off the week with another 8. So that'll bring me to almost 20K for the week, which is awesome. And then I'm gonna hopefully get back to around 30 next week. So 8K plus 12K steps today. That is the plan. I'll update you on what I eat. I've dropped over 1 kilo this week. Definitely looking leaner. So everything's moving in the right direction. Unreal. Your electrolytes are here as well.
Thank you so much. Is yours the stiff one? Or is yours that one?
I feel like it must be that one. It's massage with that one. You got that one. They're both. There's one each. 8K is going to be our longest run ever. So this is a big moment. We've done 6 before. Have you done 2 6s or just one?
One.
Just one. So we're upping it to 8. But she's been doing really well. She's been doing 3 a week. Just building that base. So yeah, we'll give you an update. But the palm.
This is the longest run post illness though.
Yep. Well,
this will be a test.
it's always going to be post illness, isn't it? But the palm's lush. It's nowhere near as busy as Kite Beach, so it's a bit of a vibe. So we're going to take some photos and video. We're almost 4 miles in to the 5 mile run. My watch is in miles for some reason. Nice and easy, holding a great pace. We were up at like 6:30, 6:45 at the start, but now we're down at pretty much 6 minutes, which is great. It's gonna be our longest run yet. Smashing it, and it is hot. My heart rate is 135 now, and it was down at like 110 before, so it's definitely getting hotter. What a vibe.
Yeah, and
We are sweating. We are done, back on the proper camera. 8K done in 49 minutes and 52 seconds. 6:12 average pace, which is well good for her. Picked it up a little bit towards the end down the hill, and think she didn't realise how far we started to go, but nonetheless, really good. Cardio done for the day. We've got another 12K steps to do, so we're just gonna head back now, get a coffee and get on with it. Got some good pics for carousel posts today as well. Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. Fat loss phase, photo shoot prep, week 2 is underway. It's actually Tuesday morning, obviously just down at the track. Just done my first speed interval running session in I think 6 weeks, which would have been 2 weeks before the marathon. So actually went pretty well. Obviously I've had a little bit of a foot injury over the last few weeks, but I would say it's 90% recovered now. So I gave that session today a go. So it was a 2K easy warm up, and then it was just 5 by 1K, and I was holding between a 3:25 and a 3:30 pace. So I'm really pleased with that. And I'm going to be doing a 2K cool down now. It's almost 11 o'clock, so it's hot. So I reckon with a good few weeks of speed work under my belt, a little bit of a drop in body weight, and running earlier in the morning, I reckon a sub 17:30 5K is there. But for the next month with the photo shoot prep, this is the only hard training session that I'm going to be doing in terms of running, but very pleased with that. So We'll have got a few running clips, I think, as Liam was behind the camera before, so I'll insert them. But we're into week 2. We've dropped 1.2 kg high to low so far, so things are moving in the right direction. I'll give you a little bit of an update later on when we're back at the apartment. Yes team, gonna update you on week 2 of the cut. So we are just over halfway through, and after this week there will only be 3 weeks left until my shoot. Well, actually 4 weeks until the shoot, but 3 weeks until we do a peak week, where basically we won't be in a deficit anymore and we'll be increasing carbs to add more fullness to the physique. So basically we've got less than 3.5 weeks to push hard. So this week has been a little bit strange, potentially some mental mind games going on, but obviously I've done this before. So basically body weight has fluctuated a lot this week, but as you will have seen earlier on in the video, I did a big track session where I did it was 9k of total volume. It was basically hard 5 kilometers at a really fast pace. Now that's the first intense training session that I've done with running since like 2 weeks before marathon, so it's been a long time. And not to generalize, but a lot of the time when you do those sorts of big intense training sessions, you'll often see your body weight go up the next day, and a lot of people think that the opposite usually would happen. Surely if you're pushing yourself, you're burning a lot of calories, surely the body weight would drop. But it's just a reflection of me holding on to a lot of stress and fatigue from that training session. I woke up and my legs got a real shock, felt like I'd been hit by a bus, quads were all dommed up, hamstrings were hurting as well. So yeah, that's probably why the body weight has gone up, because every single other target that I'm following, calorie intake, macro targets, step count, everything's been hit. And it's normal to see fluctuations anyway, even if you weren't training at that high an intensity. And then body weight actually held today as well. So when I started the shoot prep, I was 78.5. I think the lowest weight that I saw earlier on this week on Monday was 77.4. So that's a drop of 1.1, and then it's gone all the way back up to 78.5, and then it's held there 2 days in a row. But I did go out for dinner yesterday, and I'll talk about this in a second. I still stuck to my calorie intake perfectly, but the reason that I think I've weighed in again at that higher weight is just because I actually banked loads of calories for the evening. So I focused on hitting a high amount of protein before the evening, so I only had about 45 to 50 grams of protein to hit when I went out, but I left myself a ton of carbs. I must have had about 140 grams of carbs for dinner, and we ate that late at about 8:30. So again, often when you eat late, sometimes you weigh in heavier, and 2, when you eat a lot of carbohydrates late as well, there was a lot of sodium in that meal as well, and all these kind of little things together can lead to water retention. But you know, it might not have been because of anything like that, but sometimes you just see those fluctuations. So I'm interested to see what body weight says tomorrow, which is Friday. I've got a full rest day on Saturday, and usually when you take a full rest day, and again, provided that you stick to targets, you'll often see a drop in body weight. If I am holding on to some stress and fatigue, which I definitely will be, just because I've pretty much trained every day for like the last 5 or 6 days. So yeah, we're moving in the right direction. But even though the body weight has been high relative to where it was at the start of the week, the visual progress is massive. People that are seeing me are saying that I'm look leaner. You know, I'm catching myself in the mirror and seeing that there's a lot more vascularity there. So I think by Sunday I'm going to be looking really good. And Ben, who is helping me and who is basically coaching me at the moment for it, he said, you know, we're not chasing a number on the scale, although that is a good indicator of progress that we're moving in the right direction. We're chasing a look, being lean and full, and I really like that. But I do think we'll bring calories down next week. Just simply the nutrition side of things is not hard enough. I'm not hungry whatsoever, which is obviously a good position to be in, but I really do want to push it. So yeah, I'll update you. In terms of training today, I did an 11k easy run. Really nice to just be back running regularly. I think my average pace was 5:12, 5:13, and the average heart rate was 135. So definitely have not lost any fitness post marathon, because I've been really putting in the work on the bike and the zone 2 stuff. So running is very much back in. That's 20k of volume for the week, and then we've got another 10k to do on Sunday, but we're going to be doing that with Liv, so it's going to be a slower one there, which is perfect for what I'm doing at the moment. We want the training intensity with the running to be low so I can recover from it. But yeah, that's an update, and I'll check in probably tomorrow or later on in the weekend. But I've got a couple of meals out this weekend, but they're not different. They're not like unclean, unhealthy meals. I've got a Nando's tomorrow night, and that's literally just going to be probably chicken breast and rice and vegetables. You can track that fully in MyFitnessPal. And then on Saturday night, I've got a steak and potatoes and some veg. So again, very clean meals, it'll be easy to manage.
Let's say no to this.
Look at this. Look at this treat. It's not all running and gym. What do you have to say? What are you gonna have for dinner?
What's this vlog about?
Well, it's just lifestyle. You know, this is fat loss phase week 2.
Fat loss phase week 2, not for me. So I don't know. We'll be eating steak.
Yeah.
Currently debating whether I should have a wine or not.
Yes.
Undecided.
I might be able to squeeze a couple of drinks into my.
No, you're not.
Why not? I'm sure it's all lifestyle, you know. Got weeks out.
Literally diets for like 2 weeks.
This is the longest dieting phase I've done in 2 years. It's almost been 2 weeks. But tomorrow we have 10k, her longest run yet. So in the last vlog, actually no, at the start of this vlog, we did 8k on the Palm. But that was very hot, as we mentioned, so we're going to head out earlier tomorrow. Probably not too early, but definitely earlier than last week, and get it done. But she's experiencing some lower limb discomfort, but I think she can get through it. Because we're going to run a deload week next week. 3 weeks to build, 1 recovery week, and then we're putting in some intervals because she's actually progressing much quicker than she thought. She's doing really, really well.
I did think it was game over though, because this week I decided to forget my running trainer, so I had to do a run, 5k run in my Dunks, which I didn't think would make a difference, but
not
I have
running attire.
I have in fact got the worst calf pain now ever. So
that just shows you, because she was not experiencing any calf pain with the Nike Vomeros, so it just shows you how important footwear is if you want to progress. You're looking more tan than me.
No, actually,
and I got a good couple of hours in the sun today. Isn't that disappointing? So yeah, we'll show you what we eat and maybe drink. Yeah.
If you want to continue the restaurant first, guys.
private dining.
That.
Thank you, sir. Tell me this chair.
We have the starter tracked perfectly in MyFitnessPal.
How long ago was that?
What have you got, babe?
Beef carpaccio.
Oh.
Very nice.
That's crazy. That is nice. Because also you're further out, right? So you're not like
Yeah, you're
right
just,
in
you're
it.
just like that. It's like a 15-minute walk to the mall.
About to head out on our 10k now. I've just stretched for 2 hours while she's been getting ready. So we're gonna go to the shop, get a banana for the intra-run fueling, and then we're gonna get it done. Realistically, it's gonna be 10:30 by the time we get out, but it should be okay. It should take us just over an hour.
Have a perm to have that curl.
Yeah. We are done. 10k smashed, just under 59 minutes. Very, very impressed, very pleased. Ready for the half marathon next month. Nah, joking. First 5k was bang on 30 minutes, and then we actually sped up a little bit, which is impressive because it got hotter. And then we ended up, I think it was 58, 52 or something like that. So sub 29 minute 5k and sub 60 minute 10k in the bank. Very, very good. How are you feeling? She was barely out of breath about 2 minutes after.
It was hard. The last kilometre, I thought I was going to die. Other than that, it was fine.
Yeah, well, I think that's normal when you're pushing them long runs, but it was very, very hot. We finished at like after 11:30, so if you did that earlier in the morning, you'd be flying. So yeah, another one in the bank, recovery week next week, and then we go again. Let's fucking go. Good afternoon, team. So it is Monday today, busiest day of the week for me, just pretty much check-ins and training all day. So it's bang on 4 p.m. now. I've just done my strength training session, so I'm going to run you over the training session that I did. I made some adjustments because I've trained in the apartment gym today instead of an actual proper commercial gym, just simply to save a little bit of time. Going to update you on the weigh-ins over the last few days and just the overall progress of the fat loss phase. So, strength training session today. As you know, if you've watched the last few videos over the last couple of months, I train full body strength 3 times a week. This is my favorite way to train for me personally, balancing my running, because I'm able to get a lot of lower body volume in my program, which is really good for reducing the imbalances that I have from my ACL surgery, like must have been 14 years ago now, and just cleaning up those imbalances, building a lot of lower body strength and resilience as well, without generating too much fatigue, which is important if you are balancing the strength training and the running, doing that quote unquote hybrid training. Because, for example, tomorrow I've got a speed session, so the last thing that I want to do today is blitz my legs and not be able to perform well on that session. So I did have to adapt a few things today, just because the apartment gym in my building does not have as much kit as the gym down the road that I usually go to. But basically what I did was, I've got about a 15-minute rehab warm-up complex circuit thing that I do at the start of all my training sessions at the moment, just that is programmed by the physio, basically just a lot of glute medius work, a little bit of glute max work there, just to strengthen up the glutes and the hips in general. I did some kneeling cable crunches because I like to do a little bit of core at the start of each of my training sessions. I lifted very heavy. Well, I have lifted quite heavy on deadlifts for the last couple of weeks, and I didn't hurt my back, but I could just tell that there was a lot of kind of stress and strain going through the lower back over the last couple of weeks. And I think, you know, I've managed to get my running volume back up to over 30k a week. And although you don't really feel your lower back when you're running, it is a lot of impact through the joints, especially when you're not like sub 60 kg like a lot of these runners. So today I removed deadlifts and I just did hyper extensions instead, just to get a little bit of posterior chain work. I'm going to deload on RDLs on Friday, which is when I usually do them, pull back the weight a little bit, and hopefully some of that kind of lower back discomfort just clears up. But I also think it's related to just spending way too much time sat down at my desk. So I've got the standing desk set up in my room, and I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time that I sit this week. I'll be getting straight up after I film this. And then after the hyperextensions, I did incline barbell bench press, Smith machine incline. I would usually do incline dumbbell press, but the dumbbells only go up to 25 kg in the gym. I actually quite enjoyed the incline Smith machine, so I might actually put that in my routine going into February. Then I actually did Bulgarian RDLs. So basically you get into a position like you're doing a Bulgarian split squat, where you elevate the back foot onto the bench. I'll actually insert a video of me doing it. I got that when I was in the gym today. And then you basically do a single leg RDL. So it's kind of like a hybrid between doing a split stance RDL, where you have more support from the back leg, and a complete single leg RDL. So it's kind of like in the middle, and I actually really liked it. Supersetted them with Copenhagen plank dips, which is a really good stabilization exercise for the adductors. You'll notice a lot of my lower body training is quote unquote functional running focus, unilateral work, but I do still have trap bar deadlift, RDL, and rear foot elevated split squats in my program. So there's still a good bit of hypertrophy in the routine to keep the size there. Then I did back supported dumbbell shoulder press. Then I did a reverse grip pull down, and then I just did some triceps to finish. So full body training session there, 2 pushing exercises, shoulder press and incline Smith machine, 1 upper body pull, which is reverse grip pull down. My other 2 training sessions later on in the week have 6 sets of pulling in each of them. So there's actually a lot of pulling volume over the course of my week. And then lower body movements today were, well, it would have been a deadlift, but hyperextension instead. And then Bulgarian RDL and Copenhagen plank dips, if you count them. On to the progress of the fat loss phase. So saw a big weight drop in the first week. I've done 2 full weeks on the plan now. So big drop in the first week. This week, well, last week, body weight fluctuated quite a lot, but I know that's going to be due to training, stress and fatigue, just because I had a big track session midweek, which actually made my body weight go back up a lot, because I reckon I was just holding on to a lot of fatigue. And then the body weight has come back down since then. So over the last few days, the 19th? So the 14th and the 15th of Jan, I was 78.4. and that was when the weight jumped back up a kilo after the track session, and then it dropped down 1.2 kg from the 15 to the 16 to 77.2, which was the lowest weigh-in that I've had during this fat loss phase, and the lowest weigh-in that I've seen, I think, since almost 2 years ago in summer when I weighed in the 76s, but I had food poisoning then. So the lightest that I've been in years, but I've definitely got holding on to good muscle. So by definition, I must be leaner than I have been in the last few years. And then I had a 77.3 and then a 77.6 this morning. So it's encouraging to see that the weigh-ins have remained close to the lowest weigh-in. That's a good sign. Because if you look back to where I was last week, they were kind of higher 77. So not a crazy amount of movement, but obviously I am very lean. So take every 0.2 to 0.4 kg that you take off, I look very different visually. I checked in this morning for my coach Ben, and I am expecting him to make some changes to, I think, probably nutrition targets, because output is high at the moment. I'm doing 4 cardio sessions a week, 3 runs and 1 zone 2 bike session, which I'm doing later on today after I've done my check-ins, and then 12,000 steps on top of cardio. So output is high. So I think he'll probably reduce calories by maybe 200 to 300 per day, which I think I'll be absolutely fine with, because I'm not experiencing any hunger at the moment whatsoever. And I almost feel like I've only got 3.5 weeks left until we start the peak week, which is where we basically start to increase carbs again. So I've got like 3.5 weeks of fat loss, and I almost want to feel a little bit hungry to know that I'm kind of like giving it my everything. So with my lowest weigh-in, 77.2, I do think I'll get into the 75s, which is absolutely crazy, because generally, like lean, I probably maintain around 79 kg. So if someone said you're going to lose 4 kg, I would have said no, there's no way you can do that. But I think people underestimate how light you need to get to be shredded at my height of 5'10". I think, you know, you're not going to have anyone walking around at 80 kg shredded who's natural at that body weight. It's just not going to happen. And I obviously know a lot of coaches over here and a lot of people who've done photoshoot preps and things like that. And like people from my height between 5'9" and 5'11", like you need to get probably mid 70s to be shredded. So yeah, it is what it is. I've got a half marathon in the books, I think in 13 weeks time. So I will be doing some speed work for that whilst I do this photo shoot, but obviously the overall intensity of the running can't be that high because you're managing fatigue and recovery and things like that. So once the photo shoot prep's out the way, I'll basically have 8 hard weeks of training to prep for that half marathon, and realistically I'll probably be running that half marathon sub 77 kg if I maintain weight after the shoot prep, which I will. So I'll be in a very good position to do well there. But more on that later. It is mid-April, so it's going to be hotter than the last one I did. But nonetheless, I think with a solid 12 weeks of training, I can PB, even if it's only by like 30 seconds. So we'll see. But I can't wait to train for a half marathon again. I think after training for a full marathon, training for a half marathon just seems fun, because the longest run you're ever going to do on the weekend is going to be 18k, which will take me, you know, an hour and 15 minutes, so not too long. But yeah, all good. I'm going to get my meal in now, do check-ins, and then go and do cardio later on.